Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. This is how to invest, and this one is going to be an update on PlayBoy stock. A big throwback on this one. I haven't made a video on this in over 3 months, but this stock's been very volatile today. It was down over 5% closing, and then has rocketed up 15% in the after hours. It's right around 14.3, but it was up as much as 15% just a couple seconds ago. So I'm going to be getting into why this stock is jumping so substantially in the after hours. If we look at the market capitalization, which is what we usually like to start with on the stock, it is $1.2 billion. I believe when I first started making videos about this stock, I think it was about $500 million around, or $600 million, and I said that it could easily go to $1 billion or $1.5 billion. We are still currently under the 1.5 billion. That would be closer to $40 per share for the stock. But I made that estimate just based off of the fact of their goals on how much revenue that the company will be making and the current sales of the company that they do have. Also, just other companies in the retail segment. I think the one that I compared it to the most was Guess, had an outrageous market capitalization compared to PlayBoy's, compared to the revenue that both of the companies were making. If we take a quick look at Guess still, we can look at their market capitalization. And that is 1.4. Let's see if that was the right one. We'll go to the one with the question mark. I know it's typically Guess. Oh, but it looks like it's 1.4 currently. So they have typically evened out to about the same price, which was what I was arguing for. I believe it was about 9 months ago I started making videos about this stock, that, hey, these are very similar companies. They have similar demand for their products and similar money that they're making on the top and bottom lines. So I just want to point that out there. But the real reason that this stock has been moving so substantially today is their earnings came out today. And off first reactions, a lot of people were, this isn't the one I wanted to click on. On first reaction, many people were very, very negative on the earnings report because they missed on the bottom line. But when they got into the conference call, became much more bullish. And we can see that on the stock today. So it closed 5% down. It started the day at 32.70 and ended at 31.03. And has shot all the way back up to 35 after hours, and is coming down a little bit. So the real reason that it shot up so much in after hours is because they really emphasized the revenue beat on their call and their framework for their path to growth forward, in ways to increase the revenue and the ways that they can increase their NFTs, which is a big reason that this stock has a lot of hype around it. So if we look here on this article, it says from Bazinga, PlayBoy Group highlights third quarter results. PlayBoy parent reports 67% revenue growth. Like I said, that was really the number that they were trying to push, that they did beat by a good amount on the revenue, but did slightly miss on the bottom line. And highlights strategic roadmap and NFTs. So I touched on the NFTs. They have an enormous catalog that they have for selection for NFTs, just based off of all of their previous magazines, and they can even create new ones based off of the old ones, or just completely new and entirely new NFTs, just based off of the company. But the article goes off to say, lifestyle company brand licensor PlayBoy reported their third quarter financial results Monday after market close. What happened? PlayBoy Group, which is the owner of PlayBoy, had $58.4 million in revenue, up 67% year over year. The estimate was just about 57, so they beat it by about $1 million, which is right around par, but it is still a beat, which is obviously good for the company. Typically, companies like to put a low number for their estimates and then like to beat it, because this is received well by investors. It shows that the company is continually beating the analyst estimates on the street. But it's the fourth consecutive revenue total ahead of the street. So that's fourth time beating on revenue since they've been public. Again, because they were public a long time ago, and they became public again last year via SPAC and a de-SPACing process. But it goes on to say direct-to-consumer revenue was $36 million, which is a very good number for the company. This is one that they're trying to pump up drastically, over the years, just because it's much higher margins. You don't have to go through the middleman, such as retailers, which obviously would like a discount when they buy in bulk. And if you sell directly to your customers, you don't have to sell that discount, and you can make more money on the top and bottom line. So the company reported EBITDA of $5 million and a net loss of $7.7 million in the third quarter. This is pretty slim considering that they did make $58 million total. Obviously, a lot of the money is just going to expand their business over time and really create a runway of growth for them in the future. So it looks like the CEO said, "I'm thrilled to report the successful quarter with 60% revenue." Like I said, they're really trying to point out that they beat on revenue and that it was up 67% year over year, and that they're continuing to make more money because this really was a dying brand and just a dying company overall, and had been left in the dust for years. But if you go to any PacSun stores currently, I would say most of their clothing that they have is PlayBoy brand, which is something that is very, very bullish for the company. And maybe even over time we could get a PlayBoy clothing store of their own, like I said, so they would have to cut out the middleman and have higher margins. But we will see down the line. They said, "We've made meaningful progress against the 3 pillars of our strategic roadmap, expanding our U.S. direct-to-consumer." Like I said, they're really emphasizing that just because of the higher margins. Optimizing our license partnerships, which were up 14% year over year, which was only $17 million, but they look to expand this drastically. And categories are driving new recurring revenues. Recurring revenues are always very coveted in the investing world just because it creates a sticky revenue for the company, which they're able to rely on quarter over quarter. What's next for PlayBoy Group? Highlighted its upcoming creator-led platform, Centerfold. We're very excited to launch Centerfold, our new creator-led platform that will empower the creative and influencer community to interact daily or directly with their fans and build a recurring revenue. This kind of sounds like OnlyFans. That's what it sounds like to me. I know OnlyFans is getting rid of a lot of their more graphic content, so maybe they will head over to Centerfold. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but this is my first time reading this, but that's what it looks to be, like an OnlyFans. And then the last thing it said was PlayBoy Action closed 5% down for the day. And like we have been pointing out, is skyrocketing in the after hours. So if we look at the chart for the closing, when I was first making these videos, I said the stock could run up to maybe $1.5 billion or $1 million, which they've already passed. But as I continued to research the stock and the stock or the company became more bullish on itself, I think I revised that prediction to about either 2 billion or 3 billion, just based off of their sales that they would be able to incur over the next, I think it was 3 to 5 years, based off of their investor presentation. And from this quarterly report, I don't see anything that would change that. In fact, I would be even more bullish because they did beat on their revenue. And in my opinion, missing on the bottom line is almost a positive for an early stage company and a young, it's weird to call this company young, but they're looking to grow vastly in the future. So I'd consider this a young growth company. So I don't really mind them not making money on the bottom line yet, but the gap is narrowing very quickly. I think last quarter they had over $15 million loss and obviously less revenue for the quarter. but that is good for the company. And yeah, I just think that the stock can continue to climb further and further. We had a very euphoric run back in May, which is very atypical because this was a very weak time in the stock market. There was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FUD, just due to inflation during this time, and the stock market was almost straight down and to the right, and this stock just took off, which was incredible. But it looks like we're getting some consolidation here right around these moving averages, and we're starting to bounce around the 10 and the 5. I think the 30s is a good level for this stock currently. Like we went over to the Guess stock, and they're a very similar market capitalization. And they do make a little bit more money than this company currently, but PlayBoy is expected to grow a good amount for more than Guess. So a little bit different, apples to oranges, but I would say this is sort of at fair value currently. The last time I made a video, about 3 months ago, it was, I believe, right around here or so, and I said that if this stock moved closer to 20 or even hit 20, then it would be a great buying opportunity. And I mean, if you did buy at 20 at any of these, it looks like 3 bottoms here. The first one's slightly lower. Then you would have already had a 50% gain, and even more after the after-hour moves today. So that would be a very, very good trade in a very short period of time, just back in August and even September, and even in October. This is a $23 stock. So if you have made almost 50% in the stock, I would definitely consider trying to take some profits and deploy that capital and do another laggard into the market that hasn't run up as much as this. But if you are very bullish on this company over the long period of time, then by all means, continue to hold. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.